Okay, we're here at East Durham College with Johnson McClumper and Glenn Foot's trainer, Mr. Dave BINNS. Thanks for having us down.
Welcome anytime, Phil.
So Johnson's got a big fight on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, a big fight, a match that it's where you want to get to. This is the door opener, in my opinion. This is about that will establish him and put him in the frame for prospective championship bouts, etc.
Well, you've always had a lot of confidence in Johnson, and I know from a promoting point of view, Phil Jeffries has always spoke very highly of him. But again, it's because his injuries, it's slowed down his progress. But just watching him a couple of weeks ago at on Phil's show, he was punch perfect. He was.
He's very, very good. He's very talented. I think he's been very underestimated up to now. I'm his coach, I would say that, but technically he's a very, very good boxer. He's got good power. He's an all-round good boxer.
So in terms of obviously Lewis Taylor, you know of him from the amateur scene, or what?
I knew Lewis Taylor, not really well, if I'm honest, and I've watched him as a pro as well. And he's a good lad, there's no doubt about that, and it's a good bout. The guy's gone unbeaten as a pro.
Yeah.
I just think that Johnson McClumper's another level on.
And this is the chance to find that out.
Yeah, well, and we'll see. And it might, I could be wrong, but I don't think, I've got very good confidence, and I don't think it's misplaced confidence.
Because that's the thing, it's people so often say it's probably one of the most overcoined phrases in boxing.
Yeah.
But it really is, it's all about timing, when you step up, when you go up in the level.
If you're good enough.
Exactly.
There's very often, you'll see a guy coming back, he's won Olympic gold medals, I'm not talking about Anthony Joshua, but this kid's been class throughout his life. Mm-hmm. Boxing all over the world, boxing at top level. He goes pro, and then they put him in with 4-round bouts with people that are so far out of the depth, it's unreal. That formula, if the kid's good enough, you see the little, you know, Lomachenko, we're at third bout,
yeah.
World title fight. That doesn't seem ridiculous to me for a man of his ability and talent.
Was it 402 fights?
Yeah, and so why Johnson's good enough, and this is a title chance, well, a title eliminator,
yeah.
So it's putting him in frame for titles.
Is it over 10 rounds, isn't it?
It's 10 rounds, I believe, yeah.
And there's a good chance it could actually be topping the bill now, because obviously the headline bout has been pulled. So
I've heard that, yeah.
And it is going to be on Box Nation, so it's obviously the chance for Johnson, not just the North East fans, but obviously the fans from all over the country, chance to see what he can do. Have
a look at him. Yeah, he's good. I know one or two people that are boxing purists rather than fight fans, and they often comment to me how nice it is to watch Johnson box.
Yeah.
I've watched him not necessarily against the greatest opposition, but the way that he just moves lovely.
But it's natural movement as well.
Very beautiful natural movement. He's nice to watch. Nice to watch is one thing. Is he going to be a winner? Yeah, well, he can win as well. He can punch, and he's got a desire to win as well.
And you've had him since his amateur days, haven't you? Since he was 16, you say?
Between myself and Bobby Robinson's playing farm gym in Sunderland, they're the guys that he started off with, and he came down here when it actually was the boxing academy. Well, it still is actually, but he's moved on from there as Johnson. So 16-year-old, and we just work really well together. His old coach Bobby has been absolutely brilliant as well. He's sort of pushed him towards me
when he needed to go at that next level,
and I really appreciate that. But I can't really see that he's made many bad steps.
No.
Considering he's only a 40-bout kid in total, he's not a lad who's had 120 bouts. He's not a kid who's overworked and he's likely to run out of steam any minute now. The kid's fresh. He's only had 40 amateur bouts, he's had 8 pro bouts. He's still fresh, he's still got plenty going.
Well, that's where sometimes the injuries are never a good thing, but at the same point, it means that you're not as battle-hardened further down the line, so you're less miles on the...
hand injury secured and been put right, and he's tested it and tried it, it's worked well. He had a bad foot injury which kept him out for a good period of time. That's been proved, tried and tested, everything's good. He's now back in 100% shape, and I know that when he's in good shape, his skills and his ability and talent will get him.
So you're confident about Saturday's fight?
I am confident, without underestimating Lewis Taylor. I know what a good kid Lewis Taylor is, and I've also seen fights going totally a different way to what you expect them to go. I've been
It's the beauty of the sport, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not making out like I know the job, but I have been around boxing a long time, and I have made predictions that have been absolutely massively wrong, but fairly rarely.
Yeah.
And John, when you look at a decent kid, Lewis Taylor's a good kid, Johnson's a good kid. I think Johnson's boxing ability and basically the shape of Johnson compared to Taylor, I fancy Johnson McClumford to win this bout.
Now, obviously, not too much of a prediction. Do you think it's going to be inside the distance? Obviously, you don't go in there looking for a knockout, but obviously Johnson's punching, he's punching with quite a bit of power these days.
It could go one of either way. Either way, I see Johnson winning this bout. It could easily, if Johnson lands the shot on any opponent, and I do not mean Lewis Taylor, and I don't mean that Lewis Taylor doesn't take a punch, but if Johnson McClumford lands the shot that I know he's capable of landing, then it would take a big man to keep stood up. On the other hand, he can box for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
And go 10 rounds with getting hit very little, as he did. Did you see the Summer Rumble?
Yeah. I don't think he took
good
one punch.
Ball. He took very few punches there. He can box. I'd rather that it were made absolute certain of it being in Sheffield and we box a lad from Sheffield, you know, which is a consideration. But I think over the period of 10 rounds, Johnson will get to him at some point.
So it would be the perfect way to end the year. And obviously, I mean, Johnson's he's in a great division, the middleweights. Obviously, we were talking to him before about the Saunders, the Eubank Jr., but there's like the whole top 10 in Britain is some really good fights there to look forward to. Obviously, not looking past this one, but in terms of ending the year on a high and looking forward to 2015, obviously you've got a big fight with Glenn in February against Ahmed Patterson.
Yes, 28th of February. Aye.
So it's like, if things go well on Saturday, it's all about planning for 2015 next, and a lot of opportunities there. Yeah,
I really don't look beyond this Saturday.
No, of course.
As much as I'm confident, we've got this Saturday, then I've got like February 28th with Glenn to sort of get focused on.
Yeah.
Focusing alongside Johnson, because we're working on Glenn as well at the moment. It's not like I'm one and then...
Oh yeah, of course.
They work very well together. But the main focus for the moment is Saturday, and then we'll see how things go from there.
Got you. Well, obviously just touching on Glenn, just very slightly, obviously he's fighting Ahmed Patterson on February, was it February?
28th of February.
28th of February. Now, that's going to be at the O2 in London, so another Box Nation show. So it's just the fact that the lads are actually getting some TV exposure now. Obviously, when he won the prize fight, that was a potential launch pad, and then obviously injuries.
He
and
got
people
on
dropping
another
out.
televised show. He was shown on TV. He was supposed to be in a British title eliminator with another London lad. The lad pulled out, and then Glenn ended up doing a 4-round filler in bout, which is televised. But things haven't always gone just the way they could go. But
that's boxing. That is boxing.
It certainly is, and there's been no dramatic going on. I think patience will pay off for these two.
Well, they're both still young enough.
Yeah.
They've both certainly got the skill, they've got the ability. And I mean, rather than talking about the lads, what about yourself, Dave? Obviously, what's your background? I mean, you've obviously been in boxing a long time, but what's your story in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, it'd be fairly hard, really. I started off boxing with friends of mine, just kids, 11, 12-year-old, and really enjoyed it, taking part. As much as anything, getting about the country. Would never have got anywhere.
I did that with squash.
If I'd not been involved in boxing, I would never have been anywhere, basically.
Your world would have been a lot smaller.
And it grew, and I got to be lucky enough to box in different countries and stuff as well. When my boxing finished, I ended up going down at my old boxing club, Keighley ABC, where I was asked to help out with the coaching, and I did, but it felt a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest with you, not being a coach. So I actually went on a coaching course, and that's where it all started, really. Yeah. Learning to coach, learning the difference between coaching and actually boxing. Yeah. And it's gone pretty well, to be fair. I've been working with England teams and had quite a lot of world travel through amateur boxing. Ended up actually being invited to come up and work at East Durham College, as it were then known, the National Boxing Academy. It was a one-off college working with sport through education, and it's changed massively, to be fair, and there are other colleges now doing the similar and same sort of things. But that I've been up here 13 years.
So is that what actually brought you over?
That's what brought me up north east, yeah. And it's just flown over. It feels like I've been here 2 minutes.
Well, you haven't lost the accent, that's for sure.
Well, other people reckon when they hear my other family members that I've gone north east.
Oh,
so, right. I'm not joking. Somebody said to me the other day.
There'll be little words probably just dropped in every now and again.
Yeah, I must be softening or something. But 13 years, and it just seems like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it can fly over.
Yeah.
Generally, that's when you're having fun, though.
Yeah, well, that's the point, isn't it?
So hopefully it hasn't been 13 bad years.
Wife says it feels like we've been here 26 years. So
yeah, well, from her perspective, maybe.
Yeah.
So, in terms of what are your future plans? Are you fully settled up here now, or do you have plans to go back to Yorkshire at any point?
No. I'm not like one for like looking too far in the future. I don't know what it is. I'm happy up here. My daughter's married to a local guy up here now. My son's living up here. I'm only 2 hours away from.
Exactly. The world's a small place these days.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine deciding just to pack up and go back down to Yorkshire. My old job was carpet fitter. I'm a carpet fitter by trade, and I don't think I'll be going back to that either. So, fact is, I've got to make something of this coaching.
Different kind of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a different kind of work. Whether I could put we actually grafting again is another thing. But I've got no aims to be returning back. I've got great love for the place and great love for the people there. But I've got to also say the acceptance that I've had up here has been fantastic.
It is a very welcoming sort of place.
It's been absolutely unreal.
That's why they put all the call centres up here, because people.
Is that a fact? Although I did know a lot of people from the northeast, and I've got a lot of friends from the northeast. For a guy to come up from Yorkshire, and I've been sort of like in Sid, there's a regional coach. Yeah. I expected that other coaches might think, who the hell? Aye. You know, but not 1 minute. I've had absolute fantastic support from all the northeast coaches, from the amateur boxing side at job, and from the professional. Neil Fannin has been absolutely fantastic. He probably doesn't even realise it, that he's been helpful with little bits, just having a chit chat with him from a professional point of view. I just can't believe how helpful everybody has been.
But that's the boxing community, though. I think that's. A lot of people, a lot of the fans, I mean, before I started getting involved in the journalism side of things, there's so much that I've found out that goes on behind the scenes that I just didn't have a clue about, to be honest with you. So a lot of from the boxing community, there's obviously, you know, there's ripples and there's rumbles and there's friction in certain areas, but generally you'll just see, I mean, that recent Dixon v Mould fight, they knocked all sorts of colours of stuff out of each other for 10 rounds. And then afterwards, I mean, beforehand and afterwards, just greatest respect there, and probably more afterwards, after what they put each other through. I've not even
seen the bout, but I know the lads are two cracking lads, and I wouldn't really expect any more. I saw Craig Dixon's post-bout interview; it was absolute class. Couldn't in any sport, considering what the
deflated he was as well.
Yeah, and his pride. And he stood up like an absolute man. Yeah. That was fantastic. His response to the bout And from what I've been hearing, it was such a close bout.
I couldn't split them, to be honest
No,
with you.
no.
I mean, it
No,
was...
Liam Holder's an absolute belting kid as well. For you to get, I think it's quite similar to what Johnson and Lewis Taylor, two good kids.
Well, that's why I'm glad it's on the TV. The Mole Dixon fight with the Beard and Tyne and Weir coming into, and obviously televised and things, they showed the full fight. Yeah. It was like watching the big fight live in the 1980s, to be honest with. But you know, they've got to start somewhere. But those two guys putting the unbeaten records on the line, they should be getting the recognition, and at least a lot more people got to see them. Yeah. And with Johnson and Lewis fighting on Saturday, with it being on Box Nation, similar to the Saunders Eubank Jr. fight, where people who are willing to put their or their reputation or go into fights where they're not, you know, like certain to win or perfectly matched, they need to get the credit, and that's what we're trying to do here, is just get the exposure for guys like Johnson, and obviously as Glenn steps up as well. They need the exposure because the fans deserve to know more about them. Yeah, yeah. I think with certain boys, certain lads, Glenn Foot has a massive following, and that is a result of the amateur experience that he had. You could not, I can't remember going to a boxing match at Glen Foot Boxing that didn't lift the crowd massively. And Johnson McClumford, on the other hand, has been at a little bit more of a quieter, under the radar slightly.
Yeah, yeah, and yet 22 knockouts out of 40 bouts. That's some record for an amateur. It's
huge in the amateurs.
Yeah, but just quietly gone about his business. And from a ticket selling point of view, Glen Foot has far less trouble. But it's not that Johnson has trouble with it, but he's not as well known. You mentioned Glen Foot's name being on a boxing bill, and I can't imagine any problem selling the place out. But Johnson's getting there as well now. I think he's getting a lot more notice taken of him. People are sitting up and taking a little bit of notice.
with his injury and time out of the ring, that's in terms of momentum. But you know, you build your fan base, you have a win, you have a good performance, the same fans come back, and some fans who maybe he's watching somebody else think, oh, he's good, and that's how they get added on there. But obviously if he's had time out of the ring.
Glenn's also had similar situations.
He has as well.
Doesn't make a blind bit of difference. If you put him on next Sunday, at 10 hours notice, them tickets would sell within 10 hours. He's that sort of a character.
He's funny as well, isn't he?
Oh, it's good. It's good. Yeah, he's a he's a character. There's no other way of putting it. But I've watched the lad box, and actually when he turned pro, a guy rang me up, and I weren't even training Glenn at the time, but this fella rang me up and he said, he'd better get a move on Dave, because if he doesn't, he's going to miss the boat. I said, are you having a laugh? Any boxing promoter in this country who doesn't value what that guy would bring need their head tested. Exactly. I feel privileged to be coaching him. I think we're doing a pretty good job together, if I'm honest. Yeah. But I do feel privileged to be coaching him. It could have gone. I know many people that would have liked to have been having him in their camp. Yeah. But he's here. Yeah, and he sort of that's ended up. He's actually here. And I'm dead pleased about that. But the guy, his excitement, it's just something about the guy, you know. Even when you're interviewing him, it makes me chuckle if I watch over any interviews that he's been in previously, whether it were like prize fighter ones.
It's almost like a loose cannon on deck, isn't it? But I like that.
What are you going to do with your money? I'll just put it with rest. I'm thinking. Yeah, it's comical, isn't it? But it's, in a ring, it's very exciting. William Warburton comes and he's a hard man to look good against. I've got a lot of respect for William Warburton, which might sound a bit daft.
No, let's be fair. Out of the journeyman, he's...
Let's be fair. Glenn was going to win that bout. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to be talking at me Jackson, but I do really like William Warburton. He's got a lot of quality. And every time he looked like he was going to get a little bit of momentum together, Glenn jumped on him and
whacked him to the body in particular.
Made sure that the lad weren't going to get himself.
Put him in his place.
He's put some good men in the place of William Warburton.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Glenn never
Georgie
allowed
Keane.
him to. Yeah. Amongst others.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've seen him lose bouts that I know he's won them.
Yeah, of course.
And but Glenn to his credit there, every time William Warburton started to look like he was going to try and have a little go, Glenn would put him right back in his place. And it was a good bout for...
It's a great setup fight.
Yeah.
It was perfectly matched.
It was about that he was going to win.
He was going to get the rounds.
He was going to have to work for it, and he would have to do a lot of thinking on his way there as well, even though he boxed before. The kid comes with different puzzles every time he boxes.
Well, in that case, you've got some training to do with Johnson there now, so...
You're joking.
Yeah, we'll wrap this one up, but we'll come back next week after the fight. We'll do a bit of follow-up with that as well, and then we can start talking about the future. But until now, it's all about Saturday.
Yeah. Well, thank
Dave,
you very much indeed.
Thanks for having us down.
Thank you. You're more than welcome.
Cheers, man.